Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's all fantastic. It's cold and raining here, which is really strange because it's been nice and nice for days. And it's okay. It'll be fine. I actually kind of like cold and wet. Much prefer it to hot and dry. Em and I got into a pretty big argument yesterday. I'm not going to go into the specifics. It's not really important, and I don't like talking about that sort of thing. But I do want to touch on a tangential portion of that argument, which is privacy, or specifically privacy related to my children. For those of you who don't know, my children don't live with me. They live with their mom. They stay here every other weekend. And then sometimes throughout the week, my youngest will want to stay. But my oldest is 16, has a, gaming computer at her mom's house, does a Twitch thing. Like, she likes being alone, right? So even when she's here, I don't see her very much. Just a typical teenager. But we got to discuss, we're working on projects here in the house, and we got discussing their living situation because they have bedrooms here. They have maintained bedrooms here. I have maintained bedrooms here for them since they moved out. And this is a 3-bedroom house, so that means there's no extra space in this house. There's nothing, right? And I wanted to, we were talking about how to better utilize the space, but one of the things that is really important to me is that my children have privacy. And I think it comes from, I think a lot of us can identify with growing up with parents that were overbearing. Or just did not appreciate a child's perspective or a child's privacy or a child's anything, all the way up until 18. And I'm not that person. Both of my children have full privacy. That's them. That, like, I don't want to invade any part of their lives. Obviously, if it is something life-threatening or something that is, potentially very damaging, I will step in. But when it comes to their rooms, when it comes to their phones, when it comes to their interactions with their friends, I don't push myself into any of that. And it's just a matter of principle for me that I allow them to make decisions of their own, and I allow them, or I trust them to make good decisions. And that goes for everything. That goes for, their personal interactions outside of the family structure, as well as their spaces in my world. And I made the comment to Em years ago when we first started, talking, when we first started hanging out and kind of really thinking about, are we going to be in a relationship? One of the things I told her was I always wanted to maintain rooms for my children. It's important to me. It's important to me that they have a space here that is safe. And I grew up in a house where I never felt like I had a safe space. My things were not my things. My things were, family property to be gone through on a whim or to be inspected at a moment's notice. And because of that, I had hiding places. I hid things in the woods. Like I spent a lot of times in the woods in my youth because I didn't have friends very much. And so I took, some of my prized possessions and I put them away, and it was nothing nefarious. Like it wasn't like I had drugs in the woods, or it wasn't like I had, not even like playboys or anything in the woods. It was just that they were things that were intimate to me that I didn't want other people going through, and I put them away and I hid them because that was the only way for me to ensure that it was my space, right? Like those were my things. When I was 12, I had a party and I built a tree house, and that tree house became like another place where I could put things because my parents basically didn't go in the tree house. It was kind of too small for them. And I've never wanted that for my children. I've always wanted them to have the privacy that they expect, whatever that is. Like if they say this is my space and I don't want you invading it. Sure. They say, this is my phone, Dad. I really don't want you going through it. Sure. Can you show me something if I ask? That's different, right? Can you, if I say, who are you talking to, and you brush me off, and it's going to be an issue, then I expect, at least some sort of resolute answer, not just dismissal. But for me, I don't know. I think I've always felt like I wanted them to develop their own. I wanted them to trust me. I didn't trust my parents at all, ever. I just didn't. I didn't trust their judgment. I didn't trust their advice. I didn't trust. Just didn't trust them, and I never wanted to be that. So I guess part of this conversation was I'm kind of curious to know. Did you grow up in an untrustworthy environment, and if you have children, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with your children's privacy? Because maybe I am a little bit crazy. Maybe I am a little bit out of line when I let my children have the privacy that I wished I'd had. I'd love to know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is facile. It is an adjective meaning accomplished easily and with little effort. The hunger for facile wisdom is the root of all false philosophy. George Santayana, a Spanish-born American author and philosopher. Facile, F-A-C-I-L-E. I would have thought that was fuss. No, I guess it is facile. For some reason I was thinking that was a different word. I don't know what I was thinking of though.